Okay, test, 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 test. Yes, starting. Oh, lost me. Yep. I can hear myself. There we go.
Cool. All right, that's better.
All right. Testing coming through. Testing 1 2 1 2. Getting louder, louder, louder. All good. Yep, perfect.
I'm gonna bump down our monitor volume. And then check, check, check. 1 2 1 2. Testing, testing. 1 2. All right.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
I might bump the effects down slightly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, makes it easy for us. Hello everybody and welcome to CB Smith Reserve for this round 9 NPL Men's Victoria clash between Morland City and Manningham United. It is massive stakes for both of these two sides. We might only be around the midway point of the 2024 season, but Morland City yet to register a point, taking on a Manningham side with 6 to their name and looking to extend their stay in the top flight. This game has huge relegation permutations for both of these teams. It may be early, but Morland City desperate to get off the line, while Manningham desperate to create more separation between themselves and Morland on the table. My name is Nick DeBarno and I'm joined here today by Josh Parrish for this contest. Josh, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here at CB Smith Reserve for a game that could have huge stakes when it's all said and done this season.
Yeah, the sun is shining, and it'll only be shining on one of these teams if we get a result at full time. Neither of these teams has drawn a game so far this season. For Manningham, it's been rocks and diamonds. They either come out in a blaze of glory and win games, or they go down swinging. And for Morland City, 8 losses from 8 doesn't make for pretty reading, but they've been competitive in so many of those games. So I'm expecting a pretty close contest today.
Well, yeah, you mentioned it, Josh. I mean, I think 6 losses this season by a goal, including last week a 3-2 defeat against Hume City. Probably the most promising of those games was last week in Broadmeadows. Take you through the starting lineups. Manningham have made one change from the side that lost 2-1 against Melbourne Knights at Petty's Reserve. Owen Dufton into the starting 11, with Alex Castiello missing through suspension after accumulating a red card in that contest, the second red card that Manningham have had in a matter of games. So rounding out that starting lineup, joining Owen Dufton is George Zamaranis, Marco Tavella, Dower Cole, Nick Volgaris, Junior Carter, Jose Ramirez, Giannis Georgopoulos, Christos Theodorakopoulos, Ben Everson and Rob Harding. While for Morland City today, they're without Michael Zoutsidas, who got his second red card of the season. He's missing today. Coming into the team is number 15, Luca Toro, joined by Alex Condolian, Matt Spall, Kurt Arob, Norman Ailey, Corey Thomas, Dean Waters, Tudor Tarjath, Diego Cuba, Fletcher Fulton and Jose Sands. As we get underway here at CB Smith Reserve, it's Manningham in their away red kits kicking from left to right, and Morland City in their traditional navy blue kits kicking from right to left, in a game that has so much riding on it for both of these two teams. You mentioned it, Josh, no draws for either side, but Manningham do have 2 wins, all 6 of those points coming at home. Still yet to register a point away from Petty's Reserve this season. Morland City yet to register a point at all. So this game is massive for these two sides, with only Altona sitting between them on the ladder heading into this weekend. So we'll see how this one plays out here on Saturday afternoon, as Manningham coming off 2 straight defeats after that shock 3-0 win against Avondale. 2-1 defeats against St Albans and Melbourne Knights last week. They led early in that game through Junior Carter before that red card to Alex Castiello changed the game and gave Melbourne Knights a bit of a leg up, and a double from Kieran Bramwell. The difference last Saturday is a Cole and Dufton, the makeshift centre-back partnership today, slotting in for the veteran Castiello.
I'm wondering whether this is a tweak in possession, but Corey Thomas looks to have lined up at centre-back.
Well, it's an interesting one, Josh, because no Michael Zoutsidas, so we were sort of speculating as to who would be the centre-back partnership, and Corey Thomas is usually the nominal number 6, but he has played as a centre-back before, so this is an interesting move from David Ostojic, and maybe gives Morland City a bit more control in this game.
Yeah, certainly having a player as comfortable on the ball as Corey Thomas will aid their possession play, although it doesn't have the height and the physicality that Zoutsidas brings.
It's Luca Toro, who's playing as a bit further up in midfield today, was trying to feed through Tudor Tarjath, who's found some form, scored his first goal of the season last week after an injury-interrupted season last year. Spent time at Heidelberg and Kingston in 2022 before making the move to Morland City. But really just couldn't get on the park last season, and he's a massive plus for Morland City this year, especially if he can find some form in that attacking end of the ground. He's joined by Jose Sands and Fletcher Fulton as part of that front line.
There's actually plenty of firepower in this team. Jose Sands starting to put some goals away this season. Shown flashes up until now.
Well, there's the added wrinkle there, Josh, the man who's just about to receive possession, Christos Theodorakopoulos. And he's turned it over there, playing against his former side, to Fletcher Fulton. He's bearing down on goal here. Fulton creates some space for himself and he rockets it off the bar. Not cleared entirely. Tarjath looking to whip it in. His cross is blocked by Tavella. Toro. Theodorakopoulos, who turned it over and gave an opportunity for Fletcher Fulton, and an early warning sign there for Morland City.
Well, the bar is still rattling, and Manningham seem rattled by that early opportunity. Fletcher Fulton couldn't have hit it much better. Searing strike, desperately unlucky for Morland City. They haven't found the lead early here, but Christos Theodorakopoulos, you wonder what's going through his mind right now against his former side.
So a corner opportunity here for Morland City. They do from this set piece, already firing that warning shot through Fulton. They've started to find a bit of rhythm in front of goals. Ball's whipped in. Thomas couldn't get there. Comes out to Toro. His volley's blocked. Bulgaris under some pressure there. Fulton, good control there with his chest. Tarjath. Out wide. Ball is whipped in and the calls for a handball after the block there from Bulgaris. Harding just happy there to win the throw-in for Manningham.
Well, Morland City starting strong. Fletcher Fulton was their leading goal scorer last season. 6 goals, playing on the flank. If you allow him space on his right foot, he can be absolutely deadly. And then the pace and trickery of Chudia Thargiath on the opposite flank. They've got some weapons at their disposal now. Thargiath fit again after last season. He missed the majority of the campaign. It's flicked on for Luca Toro. Toro trying to feed the killer ball through. It's Thargiath looking for Jose Sands, and Manningham just got a touch. It deflects back to Samaranis, who starts the break quickly through Theodorakopoulos and Carter. Ramirez dropping off the front line. Theodorakopoulos switches play, finding Junior Carter. Bulgaris was arriving with the overlap, but maybe a beat too late. The captain, Ramirez. And there was a trailing arm there from Jonas Georgopoulos to the face of Jose Sands, and he still looks in some discomfort.
Quite incidental there.
Yeah, certainly not intentional, but nevertheless quite painful if you get one in the eye.
Won't tickle.
Morland trying to play their way out. Numan Ali knocks it into touch. A little panic for a moment there. Diego Cuba under all sorts of pressure. And Manningham are a team who can press and attack quickly when they win the ball. Georgopoulos. Bulgaris restarts play with Doveton. Manningham looking to get their shape back. They had so many bodies bunched up in that top right corner. Now they spread the pitch. Georgopoulos has his pass picked off by Numan Ali. Sands back to Cuba. Diego Cuba has the eyes up and spots Chudia Thargiath on the opposite flank. A lot of air under the pass though. And Rob Harding tracking back to do some defensive work. Ramirez on the spin. Ramirez looking for Everson. Corey Thomas had to strain every sinew to get his head to that ball. Otherwise, Ben Everson was in. Well, that's a risky pass across the back line. But Ali gets his body in the way and dummies it for Corey Thomas. Thomas, one into the channel looking for Luca Toro, but Doveton will put it into touch. And you can sense the stakes in this game and the nerves already.
Well, you'd see it usually in these sort of games, Josh. It's a bit of a cagey opening, both teams trying to feel each other out a little bit. But Morland City really taking it to Manningham, and they've got a pep in their step. I mean, that 3-2 loss against Hume, they're starting to find a bit of scoring touch. 5 goals against Chelsea as well in the Doherty Cup, so a little patchy for Morland City. Arob brings it down. Well played there from Kurt Arob. Looking to feed Tharjith, but pass was blocked. Carter, who's a bit of the Energizer Bunny in that heart of the Manningham midfield. Here is Jose Ramirez, feeds it out wide. Harding, he's got the pace. And he does well there to win the corner, so first opportunity here for the visitors. Robert Harding coming into this game, Josh, in some really good form. 2 goals in his last 3 games against St Albans and against Avondale, and he very much should have had a third against Melbourne Knights inside the opening minute, where he was played through, and it was a good save from Chris Oldfield, but would be absolutely kicking himself that he didn't put that one away, because it could have been a very, very different contest had he put that one away early against Melbourne Knights.
It was under 30 seconds, I think.
Everson cuts around, well played there from the Englishman. Everson has a go, and it's cleared off the line. In fact, it's crossed the line, and Manningham have the lead. Ben Everson does it again. Goal number 3 this season for the Englishman. And after a little bit of confusion, the word came from the assistant referee, and the goal counts. The Morland City fans here to our right are not happy with that one. But the visitors, Manningham, take the lead through Ben Everson, who last year called this place home with Brunswick Juventus. He's come across to Manningham, and he's given the Blues the lead inside the opening 10 minutes.
Well, credit to the assistant referee, whose eyesight is far sharper than mine, because I couldn't tell if that ball crossed the line. Fletcher Fulton, absolutely furious with that decision. He thought he'd headed the ball against his own crossbar and away from danger, but maybe he was standing behind the line.
Well, it's impossible for us to tell here, Josh, because we don't have the beauty of a replay or a second camera. We can have a look that's on the line, but I mean, the assistant referee on this near side, Josh, they had the better view than us, so we have to take their word for it. And nonetheless, Manningham have the lead against the run of play.
And when they go through referee training, they're told, don't flag for a goal unless you're sure it's in. Yeah. So you have to back the lino in this situation. But Morland City bitterly disappointed. There must have been inches in it. They'll take a throw quickly for Tharjith. And then Jose Sands puts his foot through it. Sends it onto the road.
Yeah, the word coming through to referee Astro Sakalis today that it did cross the line. It was funny because it did look like that Astro just for a second let it run, and he just waited to see. I think he thought at first from his angle that maybe it didn't, but
I think you're in the hands of the assistant there, who's got the correct angle. I don't think as a referee, when you're looking front on or diagonally at it, you can really be sure.
I think you need the Ian Dunn GoPros to really get a better angle of that one.
Well, no Hawkeye in NPL Victoria, so I'm sure the debate will continue to rage this afternoon. And here come Manningham. They're in again, and it's into the side netting from Rob Harding. Another great chance falls his way, but he can't make the most of it.
Very lapsed defending again there from Morland City. I mean, you can't let Rob Harding with that sort of speed, Josh, just getting in behind. And what an opportunity that was there for Manningham to double their lead. And Morland City living a bit dangerously at the moment.
This is Dean Waters in possession. Feeds it through for Fulton. Cuba. Again looking for that raking switch out to Chudia Tharjith. Still going Tharjith, jinking this way and that, teeing up Jose Sands, whose shot is blocked. And Dow Akol hacks it away. Ben Everson contested with Matt Spall. Puts it into touch and prevents the counter-attack.
Fascinating wrinkle of this, Josh, is that that's the second time that we've seen Manningham score almost an identical goal from a short corner routine. Against Avondale, Jose Ramirez scored a very similar goal where he linked up with Ben Everson. And, I mean, I wonder if that's something that Morland City, that's something you think they would have telegraphed, because it is a bit of a, I don't want to say a staple, but you see it every week when you watch Manningham. They like those short corner routines, and it's paid off again. So 2 goals this season from that. So I wonder if there'll be a bit of a word of warning for opponents in the weeks to come.
Well, you can only imagine that Morland City have prepped for the opposition set pieces. Every game streamed into Victoria. There's no real excuse for not knowing what's coming when Manningham use that routine so often, but sides are often caught out by it. The unconventional, quickly taken short corner.
Something about short corners, you either love them or you hate them. But in Manningham's case, you damn well better respect it because they're putting them, they're making them go, and they're getting the opportunities and they're scoring. So, you know, we know that there are some in NPL Victoria land who don't like their short corner routines. Ping Mark Ivkovic.
I don't think you can sniff at it based on the success rate so far. This is Diego Cuba, who's crowded out by Theodorakopoulos. And Harding combining. It's fed out wide to Ben Everson. Has Vulgaris in support. Instead, he tries the early ball, but Diego Cuba is retreating and approaches on his blind side to block the cross. Vulgaris going long down the line. Everson. Lovely touch and jinks past his defender. Cuts it to the top of the box. Jose Ramirez with a very heavy first touch. I think he was trying the first time pass there, but got underneath it. Harmlessly behind for a goal kick.
Again, Morland City looking to play out from the back. And Dower Cole coming up and putting Cuba under some pressure. He feeds it to Theodorakopoulos, who rifles it into the back of the net. Against his former side, he doubles Manningham's lead. And again, Morland living dangerously. And Theodorakopoulos with goal number 4 this season. And what an emphatic finish that was there from the Manningham attacking midfielder.
It's an absolute rocket, but what is Dower Cole doing up that end of the field? He's a centre-back. Well, he spotted an opportunity to press off a goal kick, and the central defender creates something out of nothing for Manningham. Unbelievable.
Well, he must have been paying attention, and he just might have just a bit of a whisper there to the Manningham midfielders, just cover me for a second. I know what I'm doing here. And
I'm going on an adventure.
Yes. And considering he's the only natural centre-back that's on the field for Manningham right now, it's a very dangerous move. We know Owen Dufton is a natural fullback. And to win that ball back, feed it through to Theodorakopoulos, and that's a really good finish. And after, it's a good moment for Theodorakopoulos, just wiping off those early nerves, because he had that early turnover, which almost led to an early goal for Morland. And what a finish that was. He's having a very fine start to this season now. 4 goals in a Manningham jersey. Of course, he was a key part of the championship-winning side for Morland City in 2022 that got them up from NPL 2, or now known as VPL 1, into the top tier, and spent the early part of last season at Morland before making the move to Bentley Greens, who were relegated only a couple points, or maybe a point I think it was in the end, behind Morland City on the table. So he's back here at Manningham and he's hoping to make a big impact. But Morland City, Josh, a massive, massive mountain to climb. Down 2-0 inside the opening 20-odd minutes of this game. And again, Manningham are looking to break through Theodorakopoulos.
Well, Morland City, they started the game so brightly, with Fletcher Fulton hitting the crossbar, and it's gone so wrong for them so quickly.
A bit self-inflicted, these 2 goals as well. Like, just, I mean,
falling asleep off a trademark Manningham short corner and then giving the ball away on the edge of your own box from a goal kick. Shot themselves in the foot here. Lucatoro's pass easily picked off by Marco Tavella. Everson. Lovely ball into the channel for Rob Harding. And it's intelligent defending from Matt Spall. Cannons the ball against Harding's shins and wins a goal kick. And maybe, just maybe, Morland will send this next one long.
We do wonder if they've learned from it, because we've seen in the past, Josh, especially a few weeks ago when Manningham played against South Melbourne, they were wedded to the short, not the short corner. They always are stuck to the short corner, but playing out from the back. And it played perfectly into South Melbourne's favour, and you know, that's a big reason why in the end they got blown out in the second half, but they've tinkered that since. But you have to wonder if maybe Morland City might look to do something a little bit different, as the raking ball finds Fletcher Fulton. Actually, it's a bit too much on it, and it goes out for a throw-in. So a bit of frustration seeping in here for Morland City, down 2-0. How do they find a way back into this game, Josh?
Well, I don't love the the body language from Jose Sands at the moment. He's looking very frustrated and negative. Here comes Christos Theodorakopoulos, who takes a heavy touch and lets Corey Thomas in. Maybe an opportunity to pinch one back here for Moreland City. Fletcher Fulton in the 1v1. He's got Sands in the middle. A Cole with the sliding challenge. Danger not abated yet. And they concede a really cheap free kick, Morland.
You know what?
It's definitely a free kick, but they got sucked into it there. Junior Carter knew exactly what he was doing and averts the danger for Manningham.
Well, you don't need to be a body language doctor or Bill Simmons' dad to be able to recognise the frustration on the Moreland City players' faces right now. You can just tell you do wonder, Josh, because they're so G'd up for this game and an opportunity for them to go 2 behind this early. A team that has very little confidence at the moment, hasn't had a point in the league. You know, yes, they've got that Doherty Cup win, but this is the sort of game that they penciled in the calendar as an opportunity for them to really start their season. And right now they've got such a huge mountain to climb.
Ali winning the ball for Luca Toro. And the youngster finds Thargiev on the right. Judia Thargiev going it to Vella. A cutback for Toro. And Luca Toro lines one up. Took a deflection on the way. Moreland City corner.
It's interesting because Moreland City have actually looked pretty good when they've been able to break and get space in transition. But it's just their defence at the moment. They've been just a little bit lax. So as much as they might be 2 down, this game is still far from over. We've still got a good 70-odd minutes in this game remaining for them to make inroads. So we'll see how Manningham can deal with this, Josh, because their defence, conversely, has been also quite problematic this year too. And without Castiello and Scopoletti, they've got some big outs down there.
It's Diego Cuba off the corner. It's an awkward bounce at the front post. Real moonraker of a clearance. Comes out to Luca Toro. Cuba. Lining another one out. Good shape on it. Couldn't get a decent deflection goalwards. Dean Waters for Numanali. Now out wide to Cuba again. Diego Cuba, great ball again. Judia Thargiev couldn't do much with that. And now the counter-attack begins for Manningham. Everson couldn't keep it. Good defending from Spall. They've got Fulton running off the shoulder. And he's going to be offside. Well, Manningham in a great position to pick up their first away points of the season. It's been so reliant on the home advantage at Petty's playing on the synthetic, and today isn't just an opportunity to get a win on the board, it's also to keep their relegation rivals down there at the foot of the table.
Well, it's funny, Josh, because in all of Manningham's away games, they've gone behind first, and they've never really looked likely. This is such a contrast. I mean, yes, they've played some really difficult games on the road against the likes of Oakley, and Green Gully were in some good form early in the season when they met them. You know, Port Melbourne at JL Murphy. Going to Churchill Reserve and playing St Albans is never easy. So, you know, coming here against Moreland City, which is essentially, let's just preface this as well, this is essentially, as much as it has been a home away from home for Moreland City, this isn't the same home ground that, you know, Manningham came to when they played Moreland City last on a road trip. They went to Campbell's Reserve. So it's very different. It's a lot bigger. It's not as much of a racing track in the sense that Campbell Reserve is, and it's a very different surface that Moreland City were able to really master on their way to promotion. So
hold that thought, Nick, as Ramirez comes forwards. That's a thumping challenge from Spall. He looks to have come off second best. Ramirez thought he was fouled. Ali under pressure from Theodorakopoulos. Waters. They just look like they're playing with fire every time they play up from the back, Moreland City. Sometimes it works, as it has this time, but you never feel truly confident. Ali has to play backwards. He was saying about Campbell Reserve, that was their home deck in NPL 2, as it was then called. And CB Smith Reserve is good a facility as it is, and Even more desirable now for the spectators, now that the infamous light pole has been removed. Now Manningham on the attack again, winning it high, but Kura Robb will pick it off.
This game is so open. I mean, you just feel like we've got 2 goals, Josh, but I get a sense we're going to see a lot more. It's just both teams throwing haymakers at each other every time they go forward. It's just open. It's not cagey. I mean, as much as Moreland City are playing with danger, it's good to see they're actually trying to take the game to Manningham if it leaves them a little bit exposed. Bit of a leaf out of Manningham's book, who, play a very similar style.
That's a beautiful ball from Junior Carter, picking out Nick Vulgaris. He's got Everson in the middle. Instead, he cuts it back for Jose Ramirez, who unleashed a venomous strike that whistles just over the crossbar.
That just fizzled through the air there from Jose Ramirez, and he's another player you can't afford to give space on the edge of the area. He's so dangerous in those moments. And again, whenever Manningham break, you could just see there was a line of players through the middle when Vulgaris got the ball out wide.
I get the feeling here that Moreland City have been sucked into playing Manningham's game. You can see off-goal kicks the way Manningham have been pressing. They're leaving themselves man-to-man at the back, 4-on-4 on the halfway line, and just throwing players forward. That was how Dower Cole was able to run all the way to the edge of the opposition 18-yard box. Some unconvincing clearance from Vulgaris. Jose Sands trying to create space for a strike, but he was on a hiding to nothing there, really outnumbered.
So just about 25 minutes played here at CB Smith Reserve. Manningham leading 2-0. Goals from Ben Everson and Christos Theodorakopoulos. The difference between the two sides. Two of their gems up front. This is a nice little bit of interplay on the far side as Tavalla feeds Everson. Does well to bring it under control. Looking to ride the challenge, but it's well defended. And now Moreland City looking to break through Toro. Sands, good touch. A Cole was there to meet him, and Sands fouls Carter. And it's a free kick awarded there for Manningham, and Theodorakopoulos heading over to remonstrate with Astro Sakalis, and a yellow card is awarded there to the Chilean striker.
Second booking of the season for Jose Sands. You get the sense that discipline might be a bit of an issue for the Chilean. I've seen him a couple of times very lucky not to get booked in games. It's a fiery character. Certainly got venomous strike if he gets the space.
You said, Josh, he's been in some good form as of late. 2 goals in his last 2 games as well, against Dandy City and Hume City.
This is Owen Doveton, deputising for Alex Castiello today. Suspended Manningham centre-back. Had to play most of that game against the Melbourne Knights with 10 men. Competed admirably, really, but Melbourne Knights had so many opportunities to push the scoreline out further. Vulgaris for Carter. Nick Vulgaris to cross. Numanali gets ahead to it. Cuba contesting. Bit of friendly fire between the Manningham players, and it almost lets Moreland City away for a counter-attack. Theodorakopoulos. Well, I think he knew it wasn't his throw there. But a little bit of gamesmanship to stop the Moreland City attack from progressing too quickly.
So he's loving it out there at the moment, Christos Theodorakopoulos. He's relishing playing against his former team.
And it all felt so different in the first few minutes when he gave the ball away and Fletcher Fulton nearly scored a stunner. You could feel a few nerves jangling, but he's really got his tail up now, so confident. And after scoring a goal like that, who can blame him?
It's just interesting because I just think back to when they got promoted, Josh, and just how central he was to that side. And fun fact, the last time these two teams played was at Petty's Reserve towards the end of the 2022 season. And you won't believe it. Guess who scored for Moreland City that game? It was none other than Christos Theodorakopoulos and Max Pacetto getting on the score sheet that day. Of course, now playing for Western United's academy side. And in fact, the other meeting that year when they played at Campbell Reserve, which ended 1-1, Christos's brother Phil scored for Manningham, who of course departed at the end of last season. So this fixture runs in the family. Always a Theodorakopoulos getting on the score sheet.
It's picked off by Matt Spall. He strides forward confidently. He's got Sands in the middle, but he misses everybody with the cross. Vulgaris Flicked on by Harding. Everson. Oh, beautiful touch from Ben Everson. And they've got the numbers on here. It's Rob Harding. And it's a magnificent save by Alex Condolian to keep his side in the game. A flowing counter-attack. It was 2v1. And Manningham couldn't make them pay.
Lovely little flick there from Ben Everson. That's what he does so well. Just held it up expertly in a great flick to set through Robert Harding. And I think it was Kurt Arob who got back just to put him off at the last moment, just to close the angle a little bit. And it was a good save from Condolian getting down to his right to deny him. But another good opportunity there for Manningham.
And another short corner. They catch them out again. It's Ben Everson darting to the near post. Forced away from goal for the time being by Luca Toro, but he skipped past him. Ben Everson is in the mood today, and it's just straight to Fletcher Fulton that time, and the cut back just telegraphed it. Tavella will knock it into the box, and Alex Condolian comes out to claim. Well, you just feel like it's a matter of time at the moment with the pressure Manningham are putting on.
It's very impressive. It is very, very impressive to see what they've been able to do early. But just weathering that early storm, and then it seems like ever since they got that first goal, it's just been all them every time they get forward. And this is the thing, you need those X-Factor players in the top tier if you're going to stay up.
It can change quickly, though. Jose Sands is down clutching his face on the halfway line. Meanwhile, the Morland City attack goes on. Thargieth teeing up Luca Toro, and that is about as far off the target as you can get.
It was always rising there from Luca Toro, and I think it was an accidental knock to the face from Vulgaris to Sands, because you saw he was apologising straight away, and Sands just trying to make the most of it a little bit, and maybe on that occasion, maybe I think there was some contact, but good to see he's all good.
Sands just holding up two fingers in the direction of Astro Sakalis, reminding him that's the second time he's been hit in the face today. Well, the temperature just dropping here in Fawkner. Sands battling with Dower Cole and winning the free kick. Get the feeling that tempers are just starting to simmer here. Diego Cuba amongst those players getting increasingly frustrated with how things are going today. Plenty of swerve and dip on the delivery, but no Morland City player within City block of that dropping ball. Waters, pinpoint switch. Matt Spall tries to ride the challenge of Harding, but just about kept possession. He scrambled back to his feet to win it. And Dean Waters again. Headed into touch by a Cole, and the Morland City attack continues. Spall, long throw. Headed away by a Cole again. Waters. Looking for an angle. Can't find Thargieth, who's switched over to the left-hand side. Carter. Great second effort by Junior Carter to win that one. Samaranis going short. And they play their way out through Marco Tavella. Ben Everson drifting wide to combine with him. And it was an eye-catching idea at least, but Alex Condolian saw it all the way. Waters out to Spall. Sliding in was Tavella. And there's a free kick, I think, for an infringement off the ball. Maybe Diego Cuba getting held back there, Nick?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just a shirt tug. A little bit of a better spell here for Morland City, just starting to get a little bit more control of this game. It's not as helter-skelter as probably the opening 20-odd minutes were.
This is Fletcher Fulton. There's 3 red shirts around him, and he's eventually crowded out. Theodorakopoulos looking to release Everson, who's got a decent burst of pace for a big man, but that was asking too much of the Englishman. Interesting, you see how they invert a fullback in possession, Moreland City. Ali stepping inside. We've seen Matt Spall go into midfield as well. Trying to create an extra number in there. So far, that Manningham press is causing them troubles. As Everson wins it back. Cervello goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. There don't seem to be enough Morland City players playing high enough up the park to make the most of that kind of negative territory from Manningham and press the issue. So even when it goes back to the goalkeeper, they're not really moving the defensive line up to halfway unless they win a corner.
Manningham looks super comfortable in possession right now.
Well, they're in no rush.
Yeah.
2-goal cushion. They can just wait for Morland City to come at them and then sting them on the other side. Here comes this red wave. It's Theodorakopoulos lining one up, and it would always looked ambitious from that sort of territory.
We had Nick Volgaris in an acre of space on that right-hand side, Josh, and he was getting in a good crossing position. I think if he had his time again, he should have probably fed Volgaris because he could have potentially got them in a crossing position, but I mean, he's feeling himself at the moment, Theodorakopoulos. He's already scored one.
He's got great ball striking ability. Don't blame him for lining one up when he has the space, especially with a goal under his belt already today. Carter. Yanni Georgopoulos. Sands will press the issue and Samaranis has to play it long. Thomas winning ahead of it. He really had no right to win given the height disparity, but he judged it well in the air. Vulgaris. Thomas back to Condolian. Rob back to Condolian. Puts a lot of air underneath that one, and Vulgaris can attack it. And Manningham can spring now. Theodorakopoulos was wide open. He was in his own postcode and is on the edge of the box there, and Jose Ramirez couldn't find him. Extraordinary. What a missed opportunity for Manningham. Can Morland City punish them on the other side? It's Sands back for Luca Toro. And he's coming no closer to hitting the target there.
2 opportunities, one at either end, that both teams probably should have done better with. I mean, Ramirez, as you mentioned, Theodorakopoulos was so open, just had to play it to his feet. He was one-on-one there with the goalkeeper, and probably then he's 3-0. And then back the other way, Luca Toro found again in a lot of space there and just didn't get any curl on it. Hit it just almost like he hit it with didn't even wrap his foot around it in the end, and almost side-footed in the end, and a poor effort. A great opportunity for both teams. One for Morland City would have been potentially a 2-goal swing there. So living dangerously there in defence, Morland, but Manningham still showing that, you know, back the other way, they can be opened up. So fascinating final few minutes this first half.
Theodorakopoulos had just so much room. He couldn't believe the ball hadn't been fed straight to his feet.
If anyone you'd back to hit that pass as well, it's Jose Ramirez, which is just amazing to think that he wasn't able to find him in that position.
Maybe Manningham just getting a little bit too comfortable. They force the issue here. Ramirez, classy touch this time. Georgopoulos. Flag was up against Everson on the far side, wouldn't have counted, even if he got there. In fact, they will restart with a free kick. Morland City sending it long. can see Diego Cuba remonstrating with his own bench there about the lack of options to take that quick throw. But really, Manningham is set here. They've got numbers back. Cuba. Harding got a foot to it. Matt Spall will retake for Jose Sands. Spall going to work on Tavella, and Tavella shows him the byline. Spall knocks the ball across it. Manningham goal kick. There's just such pent-up frustration in this Morland City team. Feel the pressure today that they're under after this run of bad results. Spall giving away a free kick for a push in the back on Harding. And Manningham will send the tall timber forward. Dufton and Dow Akol joining the attack. Georgopoulos. Decent delivery, but Condolian equal to it. And Thargieth is wrong-footed there, so is Waters. And frustration from the fans in the grandstand as Morland City give away possession very cheaply. Here comes Junior Carter, and look at the runners they've got here. Oh. Christos Theodorakopoulos again in a pocket of space, and again Manningham can't find him.
So much space every time they get forward. I mean, I wonder if this is going to be something that David Stojic really hones in at half-time. I mean, yes, they've got to chase the game, but it's a 2-0. You can't afford to leave yourself even more, I guess, open, because if it gets to 3, that's when it's probably going to be curtains. But yeah, this is very dangerous play from Morland City.
Ramirez. Oh, what a ball, and then a swing and a miss from Junior Carter, trying to connect on the volley. And that's a poor release from Condolian, and Jose Ramirez runs it down. Ali elected to take a touch, and he's conceded a corner when he didn't need to.
It's communication there from the Morland City players, and just a bit of awareness from Ali, like to understand where you are on the pitch in that moment there, Josh, like just to maybe let it run and just concede the goal kick. Unless there was a deflection in the lead-up, I'm not sure. But
I don't think so. I think he was worried about Ramirez sliding in and winning the ball, and he could have just used his body to shield it and see it out, but I guess took the safe option. Theodorakopoulos with a great delivery. Akol's in there. No telling touch. Doveton attacking the loose ball, and a whistle's gone against Manningham. Robert Harding, after the whistle, has gone down. Clutching his face, I think.
A bit of words there from Theodorakopoulos and Alex Condolian. He's always in the epicenter of all the action at the moment whenever there's any sort of coming together. He's relishing this opportunity against his former team.
Theodorakopoulos, one way or another, he tends to become a main character in games. Player of such ability, broke through at Avondale, but found first-team opportunities a little lacking, so...
Both a very bright future. I think we're going to be seeing him feature a lot in NPL Victoria, and, you know, with Mooted NST around the corner, you know, he's a sort of player to keep an eye on.
It's Toro for Fletcher Fulton. Stepping in field. Fulton went to ground. Cuba's shot was blocked. It's hacked away by Georgopoulos. Thomas underneath it. That's a nice cushioned header for Numanali. Toro. Back for Spall. Good challenge from Tavella. Carter. Well, he splits the difference between his teammates. Manningham counter-attack. It's not to be. Fulton for Spall. Through for Luca Toro. It's across the box and Vulgaris. Right place, right time to clear. Georgopoulos. Gee, this game is so open. And Manningham looking to punish Morland City now. Theodorakopoulos prompts the run. Vulgaris, but instead he goes to Jose Ramirez. Everson feeds it through. And it's Christoph Theodorakopoulos who can't find a shooting angle. And the retreating Kurt Arob does enough. Gee, they were cut open again there, Morland.
It's happening so easily for them right now. Actually quite amazed that it's still only 2-0. But my question here is, Josh, they're going to go for it again. They've already gone twice for the short corner routine at this exact angle on this side, and it's already led to a goal. So I wonder if they'll go with it again.
I don't know if you'll see Manningham's dominance truly reflected in the shot count, because a lot of their opportunities have just been the final pass.
Yeah. Hasn't
quite been there, but they've had glorious openings. And here comes that short corner again. Ramirez for Everson. And he's brought down by Luca Toro, who's insisting he played the ball, but it looked an ill-disciplined challenge.
What I find amazing about that was I lost Everson for a second as that corner was getting ready, and he was lined up at the back post, and he just zips right down the byline and just comes and, receives the ball in that area. And it seems like it's that telegraph play of he would draw the player out, he would just drag him out. It's almost like a rip. And then he plays that cutting back heel to Ramirez or whoever comes in on that angle. And
knowing it's coming is one thing, stopping it is quite another.
Exactly right. It's almost like a pick and roll almost, Into
the front post. Harding helps it on. Easy claim for Condolian. Doesn't have an obvious quick release on the break. Needs width and...
He's taking his time there, Condolian, with the ball.
Generous 6 seconds there. 1 minute to be added. The end of this first half. Which Manningham will be very happy with, but they've just left the door ajar here for Morland City. And potential comeback. This is Corey Thomas.
I think if they can get potentially one just before the break, Josh, would set things up beautifully for the second half.
Do wonders for their confidence instead. They're going to have their wits about them and not concede a third here. Junior Carter, skipping between two defenders too easily. He almost didn't do anything there.
Yeah.
He tricked them by doing nothing.
He has to be one of the most underrated midfielders in this competition for just the little things.
Just a little upper body shimmy, a little side glance is all he needed, and then just zips between the two. And Astro Sakalis brings this first half to a close with Manningham in the box seat. They lead 2-0 at the break. And if this result holds, they'll have their first away points of the season, while Morland City staring down the barrel of a 9th consecutive league defeat. Nick, what have you made of the first half?
Well, Morland City started really strong. Great opportunity early from Fulton. Absolutely smacked the bar from range. But then ever since then, that short corner routine that led to that Ben Everson goal, did it cross the line? Did it not? The assistant referee that on this near side was eagle-eyed, and he felt that it was a goal for Everson. And then from there, Manningham have really had it their own way, and they got that second goal through Christos Theodorakopoulos, and from there, they have had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. This Manningham attack has looked really, really sharp, but they probably should be up by more. They've had a lot of opportunities to get the ball into that final spot, but their final ball has let them down. Morland City's defence has just been cut to pieces time and time again. So it's going to be a fascinating final 45, Josh, because even though this will be, for Manningham, their first away points of the season that they're seeking, for Morland City, they're just seeking for their first points of the entire league season. 8 defeats to start the season from 8. So it's going to be an interesting second half to see if they can turn it around. But they've shown that they can create. Can they, sort of rectify that defensive half to not allow themselves to be in a position where they're down by 3? Because at 2, as they say in football, to exercise a very well-used cliche, 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in football. So we'll see what happens in the second 45.
Well, plenty of action still to come in this relegation six-pointer. It's the newly promoted Manningham United Blues who lead 2-0 away from home against Morland City. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to CB Smith Reserve for this NPL Men's Victoria clash here between Morland City and Manningham United. It's Manningham leading 2-0 as we get ready to start the second half. Huge stakes on the line for both teams in the relegation battle this season. It might only be round 9, but when you look at the ladder, this is a massive game in the context of Morland City's season in particular. They're down 2-0 thanks to goals from Ben Everson and Christos Theodorakopoulos. And they've got a big mountain to climb. Morland City still without a point to start this season. And right now, they're on track to continue that for yet another week and make it 9 games from 9 without a single point, while Manningham can go 9 points clear of Moreland with a win and just improve their chances of staying up this season. There has been a change at halftime for Manningham. It's Nick Volgaris who is making way, and we've got Reece Dufton coming on here. So a brotherly combination in defence for Manningham as he slots in at right back. Nick Dabano and Josh Parrish to take you through all the action here at CB Smith as the second half gets underway. Morland City in their navy blue kits, kicking from left to right, and Manningham in their away red and white, going from right to left. Josh, it was an interesting first half. It could have easily been more for Manningham, but by the same token, Morland City have had their chances.
There's certainly been a few missed opportunities for Morland City, particularly Fletcher Fulton hitting the crossbar, but also just the amount of shots from the top of the box that they've sprayed off target. They haven't tested George Samaranis enough with the shooting chances they've had. So plenty to build on for Morland City, but just the porous nature of their defence is the Warriors. Theodorakopoulos springs Rob Harding through. It's still Harding who cuts inside and sees his shot smothered by Condolian. And now Theodorakopoulos in the channel. Clips it into the area. Free header for Numan Ali, but only as far as Junior Carter. Rob getting his head to it, and now Tharjith to start the break, and that's a poor giveaway from Tharjith. He was trying the big switch out to Fulton and got it all wrong. City win it back again. Luca Toro for Chudia Tharjith. Don't really have the numbers here, but they do have the tricky Chudia Tharjith to pick out a killer ball. It wasn't a bad effort. Looking for Fletcher Fulton. About 5-on-3 in favour of Manningham in that situation. Now here comes Reece Dufton for Ben Everson. Lovely little spin from Everson. Feeds the ball into the channel. Corey Thomas covering well. Natural midfielder deputising at centre-back today. Georgiopoulos heads away, and Morland City will have their throw.
Just was keeping an eye at David Ostojic, the coach of Morland City, when Tharjith went for that home run pass to Fletcher Fulton, which really didn't come off, and just frustration on that Morland City bench with those plays not coming off. So it'll be see what they can do from this counter-attack, because they're breaking with numbers. Sands to Tharjith. Feeds it back to Sands. Gets the effort away. It's parried away by Zamaranis, who collects it on the second attempt. Much better from Morland City. And a good opportunity for the home side to get back into the contest. It's Manningham looking to break back the other way. Everson forced all the way back and drags Corey Thomas out of position. See what they can do here through Reece Dufton. Rob getting across to intercept, but it's coming right back. Here is Everson. Shut down, and there is a Manningham player on the deck. It is Giannis Georgiopoulos. Will receive some treatment. On the bench as well for Manningham, Ali Turgott, Claudio Sikora, the backup goalkeeper, Tom Golding, James Tuntis, and a welcome sight, Nathan Dibb, in the squad for the first time this season since his move from Preston Lions. He's had a lot of injuries over the journey, but good to see him back and a chance to make his first appearance of the season.
Yeah, Nathan Dibb missed the entirety of last season with a serious ankle injury, I believe it was, just on the eve of the season. So he's looking to get back. He's got electric pace down that left-hand side, really good attacking-minded fullback.
Also on the bench today for Morland City, Curtis Miley, Apaya Kuno, Eligan Kifle, who's also in line to make his first appearance of the season since coming across from North Sunshine. Jake Chianta, Daniel Safakis, and backup goalkeeper Santo Agwek. So we'll see if Georgopoulos is forced off the field, but he's up, and that's a good sign. But he's going to have to take his leave of absence for the time being, and Manningham will play with 10 for now. Up by 2. And looking as a big, almost error there from McCall, and Thargis was waiting for it, and Zamaranis just had to hoof it away. Cuba, Fulton, good touch around Reece Dufton. Cuts inside, Fulton still going. Feeds it, Sands, good touch there, out towards the right, chance for Toro, and it's a good save from Zamaranis. And Luca Toro forcing a good save there from the Manningham shot stopper, and another good opportunity there for Morland.
That's got to be about shot number 5 or 6 for Toro today, and he's getting slightly closer every time.
Well, it looks like, Josh, that Giannis Georgopoulos is going to be forced off the field, and it's going to be Ali Turgut who will be coming on in his place. So this is a big loss for Manningham, because Giannis Georgopoulos has been very good to start this season for the Blues.
He's very diligent defensively as well, Yanni Georgopoulos. Turgut probably more of a creative player. So not an entirely like-for-like swap in the engine room. Diego Cuba standing over this one. The edge of the 6-yard box. Thargith got his head to it. Jose Sands contesting off the thigh of Dow Akol. A few half-hearted chance for handball there. Dean Waters. Back to Spall. Everyone pointing to the right flank. They want that ball out to Diego Cuba as quickly as possible, because we know he can cross it. He gets the space and he rides the challenge of Junior Carter and swings it in. It's off Akol. Second ball spills for Fletcher Fulton, who can't force it to Thargiath. Attack still going. Clipped into the area by Waters. Headed on by Thargiath. Corey Thomas was lurking with intent, but George Samaranis got there first.
Bit better here from Morland City. It's been a promising start to this second half, and this Manningham team under some pressure at the moment and already forced into one change, and not sure exactly whether the Volgaris sub as well was injury enforced. So George Karkalet's aside, 2-0 up and under some pressure as Spall plays it back to Condolian, and he hoofs it clear. It's out there for a throw-in to Morland City. Big 40-odd minutes coming up in the context of Morland's season. By no stretch is it their papers sealed and papers stamped for next season, but to go 9 games without a single point, it's far from ideal. Altona Magic taking on St Albans tonight as well, which is another game to keep an eye on in the relegation battle. If Altona can get points in that game, it's just going to make the job all the more difficult for Morland, but there's still plenty of time remaining in this one. Fulton. His players lining up in the middle. He goes himself, whips it towards Thargiath. And Marco Tavalla, I think it was, who... Did he get a touch to it, or was it Thargiath in the end? Astro Sakalis believes it came off Thargiath last, and it's out for a goal kick. But again, a warning sign for that Manningham defence.
Glorious chance to Chudia Thargiath, and I think Tavalla just did enough to put him off. If the goal was gaping, it only needed a touch.
What an opportunity for Morlands. They've had a few to start this second half. They're still down 2-0, but they're showing plenty of promising signs to start this second half. Manningham, they have given up a 2-0 lead once this season. Of course, it was against South Melbourne at Petty's Reserve, where they led 2-0 inside the opening 20-odd minutes and then found themselves behind before half-time before losing 5-2 on that occasion. No disrespect to Morland City. South Melbourne are still the undefeated South Melbourne, the table toppers. This is a Morland City side who are yet to register a single point this season, but are quite desperate and hungry for points as the flag is up against Rob Harding.
A few score updates from around the grounds, Nick. I can tell you that in VPL, Bentley Greens up by a goal to nil against North Geelong, but they have been reduced to 10 men.
Another team in North Geelong chasing their first points of the season after their relegation from NPL Victoria. Well, actually, it is the relegation battle between the two sides who went down.
This is Jose Sands for Morland City. Shrugs off his defender. It's back to Waters at the base of midfield. Thomas. Chance to cross here. Whipped in towards Luca Toro at the back stick. The centering ball and then the overhead kick. My goodness. It was a sweet connection from Diego Cuba. And nearly one of the goals of the season.
Oh, I'll tell you what. If that had come off, the connection was so sweet. But just wasn't able to get that one on target. And what a chance that was there for Morland City, but jeez, another warning shot fired there from the home side, and what a way it would have been to open up his account in Victoria as well, Diego Cuba. We know his brother's got the spectacular in him, but the ball's fed through to Ben Everson. Another chance here for Manningham. Everson getting down the byline and ball goes out for a corner. So that previous point, his brother Sian Cuba, who now plays for Avondale, scored a great goal at this venue against Morland City, a beautiful free kick. So Diego looking to play his own game of whatever you can do, Sian, I can do it better. And if he scored that, that would have been something.
He got up well, though. It was very acrobatic from Diego Cuba. Couldn't quite get over the top of the ball. Manningham with a corner, and we'll see if Ben Everson does his familiar dart to the front post. Not this time. Looking for Dow Akol, who has two goes at the ball, and then he was collected, perhaps. Referee stopping the play for a head injury. Dow Akol, you could hear the connection from here.
Yeah, he's smacking the ground at the moment as well. Really hope he's all good, because the last thing Manningham needs is a defensive injury, but I do wonder if it was just a mid-air accidental collision there, Josh, and not sure if it was enough to warrant a penalty, but
who on earth do they turn to at centre-back if Akol can't continue? The options are thin on the ground.
Well, Nathan Dibb's the only defender they've got on the bench, but he's a fullback.
Absolutely not a centre-back, Nathan Dibb.
They've got no centre-backs fit right now because, well, not that they're fit. I think Alex Castiello is ready to get out there, but he's suspended for this game. So if they're forced to make another defensive change, they've already had to tinker their backline once. Junior Carter last week, for that period of time when Castiello was, after he got sent off and they didn't make that defensive change, he slotted in at centre-back. So I do wonder if he's going to have to do the same, which he is right now. So a very small defence right now compared to when you have Akol and Castiello down there who are, you got Castiello who's a very physical presence and Dow Akol who's a very tall player, but it looks like he's all good and ready to continue, which is good news for Manningham.
I think they would have been determined to do a patch-up job on Dow Akol, regardless of any cuts or bruises he'd sustained in that collision. Here's Fletcher Fulton for Morland City. Dufton. Reece Dufton, that is, away from trouble, and then Jose Ramirez trying to buy a throw in. Said he'll get a free kick. Diego Cuba, the guilty party.
Still yet to see David Ostojic turn to his bench yet. One of those names that spring up off the page is Apaya Kuno, who has been there and done that for Morland City for many years. South Sudanese international, scored the all-important goal at this very venue 2 years ago against Pascoe Vale, which put Morland City on their way to promotion. Scored many goals as well in that 2018 season when they were on their way to promotion and then suffered defeat in that promotion relegation playoff against Green Gully. Him and Corey Thomas and Matt Spall, the only three survivors from that team. It's a who's who were played in that team a few years ago. Some still running around in NPL Victoria right now, some here in attendance. I can spot Kira McDowell, the former starting goalkeeper, who's here in attendance today. Of course, Brian Summerskill in action for St Albans later today as well, who was part of that side as well.
I think he missed that game through injury, if my memory serves.
Him and Jesse Macarunas, who also suffered a serious injury mid-season as well.
A long throw from Spall. Harding watches it onto his boot. Waters goes down under the challenger Theodorakopoulos, who can't believe he's conceded the free kick there. Quick restart for Diego Cuba. Looking for Thargieth in the middle. It's off the shoulder. And then Luca Toro sees his shot charge down. Ramirez, lovely little back heel. Ali Turgut. Turgut was looking for Everson, but it was a really poor pass in the end. Now Ali for Toro. Thomas under the pump. Coughs it up. But not for long. Dean Waters back covering. Long switch from Kerr Arob. And Samaranis will see this out. And we've got changes afoot on the Morland City bench. Off comes Luca Toro. And Apaya Kuno has been summoned.
So it looks like they're going two up top here, Josh. And looks like it's also going to be Chudia Targis Day coming to an end as well. And it's going to be Daniel Safkas coming on in his place. One of the Morland City juniors, Daniel Safkas, coming on. And Chudia Targis off. Had some moments to start the second half, Chudia Thargith, but just was unable to direct one of those efforts at goal.
It's Marco Tavelis to take the throw. Harding. Theodorakopoulos helped it on looking for Everson, but Newman Ali on the scene in time. Junior Carter has no choice but to run with the ball. As Matt Spall hot on his tail. Harding. Lovely touch from Harding. Nutmegging his opponent there. Theodorakopoulos for Ben Everson. Ramirez helps it on. Dufton shakes his defender off and has time to measure the cross. It's Harding at the back post. Centres it for Ben Everson. And that's a thumping finish. His second of the afternoon. And Manningham are 3 to the good and cruising.
That is such a good finish from Ben Everson, and that just goes to show the difference between the two teams, Josh. Manningham are just ruthless in front of goal, and Everson absolutely buried that. 4 goals now this season for the Englishman, and what an emphatic finish that was. Knocked down, and Ben Everson's not going to miss that one, Josh. That is a piece of cake and a beautiful finish there, and I think that might be good night, Irene, to Morland City. It's Manningham at the moment just cruising towards a big win here in their first away points of the season.
Well, Ben Everson makes that look easy. So couldn't have hoped for a better player for the ball to drop to.
if Manningham win this game, Josh, as they're going for a fourth here. Ali getting back. Theodorakopoulos chests it down. He hits it. Christos Theodorakopoulos, and it's saved by Condolian. Ball fizzled through the air. And a good opportunity there for Manningham to add a fourth. They're cruising at the moment. Really the difference between these two teams is what Manningham have been able to do. They've been clinical in front of goal. Right now they're set to have their third win of the season. They're set to go 9 points clear of Morland City on the table. Of course, this year only one team going down from NPL Victoria. Morland City are rooted to the bottom of the standings, and this result continues. That's going to continue with 0 points to their name from the opening 9 rounds, unless something drastic can change. But Ben Everson's on a hat-trick, and he's chasing a third as he cuts the ball across towards Robert Harding. But Spall getting across and denies the former Altona Magic man. Strong challenge from Tavella, and a free kick's awarded. I do believe actually it is Jake Chianta who's coming on. We've had a look online, Josh, and there's numbers changing all over the place between Daniel Safkis and Jake Chianta. Chianta's worn the number 20 every single week, but according to Sports TG, he's wearing the number 14 today, and Safkis is wearing the 20, but I think it is definitely Jake Chianta.
Samaranis.
Well, according to the team sheets, Josh, it's actually Daniel Safkis, so we're still trying to work this out. Do apologise to both Daniel and Jake.
Well, that's a short back pass. Condolian has to race clear, and the net is gaping here for Ali Turgut, who goes for goal. It's blocked by Corey Thomas. Nervy moment for Morland City.
His eyes were just lighting up there, Ali Turgut. Spall. His crosses come off the outside of the boot. It's out for a goal kick. So 66 minutes played here at CB Smith Reserve. Manningham leading 3-0. Morland City get ready to make their third substitution of the game. It is going to be Curtis Miley coming on for Diego Cuba. Cuba had a good opportunity. It would have been one of the goals of the season if it came off, to get Morland City back into the game when his bicycle kick went over the bar. This afternoon comes to an end. He's replaced by Curtis Miley, who joined Morland City in the off-season from Clarence Zebras in Tasmania, was the 2022 NPL Tasmania Rising Star winner. He's coming on in his place for the final 20-odd minutes here on a sunny Saturday afternoon at CB Smith Reserve. Morland City have got to produce the spectacular to come back and get something from this game. Ramirez, they want to slam the door here, Manningham. Feeds Theodorakopoulos. Dufton. Theodorakopoulos forced to retreat. Way back to Owen Dufton. Zamaranis sends it long. Theodorakopoulos outmuscles Miley. That's well played by Ali to win it back. Turnover again, just in a key area for Morland City.
Well, the hallmark of this season has been kind of honourable losses where they've really contended and competed for the 90 minutes, and it's been a live prospect for most of the game. But today, they haven't been at the races, Morland City. Too porous defensively. And Manningham are just knocking it around with such confidence.
Thomas to Waters. It's going to be a big mountain to climb in the weeks ahead for Morland City. We'll take a look at their next few games in just a sec as they get forward again here through Spall. Whips it in looking for Akuno. Got ahead to it, but it's straight at Zamaranis. Akuno still looking for his first goal of the season. Zamaranis there to collect. So Morland City up next, Heidelberg away. And they're welcome Altona Magic here, Josh. And I'll tell you what, the stakes are going to be even bigger for that one, especially if Altona are still in and around that point mark that they're at the moment. And then Oakley away at Jack Edwards Reserve, and then Dandenong Thunder back here at CB Smith. So a big 4 games to come. And, of course, they do play Dandenong Thunder as well in the Doherty Cup in a few weeks' time as well. So cup action for them, and also cup action for Manningham against Altona City in a few weeks as well. As Theodorakopoulos looking to get forward, feeds Everson. Arob does well to marshal him out wide. Everson waits for the support, but Kerr Arob did well enough. It's coming back, though. Ramirez, Everson there for a throw. While Manningham up next. 2 straight games at home against Hume City and Dandy City for a trip to Olympic Village to take on Heidelberg, and then Altona at home. So a good patch coming up for Manningham. It'll be a very tough test against the informed Hume on Friday night, or sorry, it's Saturday afternoon next week, and then Dandy City back there, another team battling finals. Heidelberg is going to be another big game for them, and then Altona, a game of similar stakes to today for Manningham, as Turgott got the ball stuck underneath him for a second. Arob, strong challenge, but Fulton comes up with it. A break in transition. He has players alongside him. Going to feed through Safkas, who just couldn't get there, and coming off his line was Zamaranis to collect. Seems like that's been the story of the day for Morland City, almost, but not yet enough. It's Manningham getting ready to make a double change. Here it comes, as looks like James Tuntis will be coming on here for Robert Harding. James Tuntis has 1 goal to his name this season against Avondale. He's had a very bright start to life at Manningham this year, and it's going to be Jose Ramirez coming off here as well and replaced by Tom Golding. So a bit of rest here for these 2 Manningham attackers. Ramirez and Harding put in 2 very good shifts today. But an opportunity now for both Tuntis and Golding to make an impact in the final 20-odd minutes. Tuntis, as we said, very, very promising start to life at Manningham, but we haven't yet seen Tom Golding get off the mark here for the Blues, but we know he's got it in him. He had a really solid season last year at Eastern Lions. So we'll see what he can do in these final 20-odd minutes. As Everson flicks it over the top looking for Golding, and the ball's out for a throw.
Yeah, I do remember Tom Golding scoring an unbelievable goal over at BT Connor Reserve against Preston Lions from way, way downtown.
Just up the road from here, Josh.
Yeah, just across the creek.
Yep.
This is Everson. Yeah, Tom Golding couldn't produce it consistently, but he certainly has a bit of magic in the boots. There's Waters, looks for Safakis. Almost has the pace to get there, but not quite. You feel like Manningham are just managing this game now.
Well, the good thing is it seems like they've learnt a lot from that game against South Melbourne. This is now the second game. I mean, they did lead against Melbourne Knights, but of course that was dictated a lot what happened afterwards from being down to 10. But I mean, you look at how they managed the game against Avondale, the best attack in the league, and now what they're doing here against Morland City. It's very impressive.
Long throw taken by Spall. Sands lays it off. Here's Fletcher Fulton from the angle. His powerful strike is saved, and then saved again by Samaranis, scrambling across his goal line. Sands went down, thought there was a high boot. Magnificent goalkeeping from George Samaranis, the double stop at either side of his goal. And he keeps his clean sheet intact. He's got to work for it, but Manningham still 3 goals to the good.
I've got to say, Josh, George Zamaranis in the last few weeks, ever since he earned his spot back in the starting lineup after losing it against South Melbourne to Claudio Sikora, has been brilliant. And yet again, he's looking like, honestly, he could be in the votes again today. They were 2 sensational stops. He just doesn't want to be beaten today. He really wants that clean sheet.
Well, we know goalkeepers take it as a point of pride. That's what you need, a goalkeeper who hates conceding and willing to throw himself through the air for the sake of his team. It was just incredible. The ground he covered there, for the second save in particular. Morland City can't buy a goal. They've only scored 4 goals this season in 9 games.
3 of those coming in the last 2 weeks. So it just goes to show how hard it has been for the opening 6 odd games before the last fortnight. I mean, it's just nothing really is coming off for him at the moment.
This is Tom Golding. Outnumbered, and Matt Spall pretty easily dispossesses him. Safakis. Out-muscled there by Junior Carter. Great challenge from the Japanese midfielder. Carter. Tavella involved. The bounce pass from Theodorakopoulos doesn't connect. Lovely spin and great use of the body from Jose Sands. And now here comes Fletcher Fulton. It's Fulton from the angle, and Morland City have one back. Well, it may only prove a consolation, but with 15 minutes left to play, there's a glimmer of hope for the team at the foot of the table.
It's a really well taken finish there from Fletcher Fulton, but that all started with Jose Sands on this near side. Great ball, great switch to get Fulton in some space. And Fletcher Fulton, Josh, I mean, he's been really good today. He's been a real bright spark for Morland City, and he has been for the last 3 years he's been at the club. He's certainly a player to watch. That's a good finish. And I tell you what, there's still plenty of time left in this game, and Morland City will have a bit of confidence here to, you know, create a little bit of a grandstand finish.
Well, maybe the nerves are jangling for Manningham. Just a touch, just a gnawing feeling in the back of the mind that this might not quite be over. Safakis loses out to Tavella. Theodorakopoulos. Looking for the big switch into space, but couldn't find James Tuntis. A really well taken goal, and you've got to credit Jose Sands for his work in the build-up. Fantastic switch. It's been a frustrating afternoon for him, but he has an assist to his name. As Morland City turn the ball over, and now it's Tom Golding lining one up. And well held by Alex Condolian.
As much as Morland City can throw numbers forward, they've got to be ready for what comes back the other way. Here's Spall. They've got to throw caution into the wind here, Morland City, and try and just create a little bit more, and if they can get it back to 3-2, you never know, but they can't afford to go 3 behind again, as Manningham are hoping to do that here. Here's Tuntis, feeds Everson in some space. His cross goes only through to Kurt Arroll, but now Fult's looking to go back the other way, but lost his feet at a key moment, and it's out for a throw.
Well, Manningham still have the firepower to see this game off and quash any notions of a Morland City comeback. They can be a little open defensively, as we've touched on today. The 1-2 involving Everson. Cross is charged down by Numan Ali. Theodorakopoulos was caught late. Referee looking to pay advantage, perhaps. No foul for Christos Theodorakopoulos, who's still in a world of hurt. As Morland City go the other way. Jose Sands. Just showed too much of it to Junior Carter. But he wins it back and then goes barreling in. Well, he hasn't stopped running all day. And he's squaring up to Junior Carter here, just off the ball. The Chilean had a few words. Carter pretty much ignored him. Doveton, getting himself in a mess. Got the ball caught underneath his feet for a moment there. Just gets it back to his goalkeeper in time. Reece Doveton. Back to Samaranis to clear. Only drops to Curtis Miley. And now Sands bullying his way through. Jose Sands. Well, it copped a deflection on the way through. Moreland City corner. And Jose Sands has not given up the ghost just yet.
A bit of a one-man wrecking crew in the last few minutes trying to will Morland City back into this game. Still plenty of time. There's still so much time remaining. You get one back here and it just makes things so interesting here.
It's going to be Safakis over this corner. Plenty of runners for Morland City to aim for. To the front post for Fulton, who flicked it on, but there wasn't much power behind it. Samaranis makes a straightforward save. And then Tuntis, that's a rugby tackle.
Here we go.
And the yellow card is out for Matt Spall. It's a slightly orange shade of yellow. It was almost a dumping tackle, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, he was almost tackling like he was trying to win holding the ball. Like, that was... I mean...
that was brutal.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's one thing, you know, giving away the foul to try and slow things down and a professional foul, but that was... Matt Spall living very dangerously there, and you can see James Tuntis was not happy about that one, and rightfully so. Matt Spall's got to be careful there, Josh.
The South Sydney Rabbitohs are going to be in touch. They could use a bit of help
yes.
on the flank. Oh. Manningham not best pleased by that one. And you can see Astro Sakalis was across very quickly to get himself in between James Tuntis and Matt Spall. Helped on by Apiakuno. And now Fulton trying to force himself through the narrowest of gaps. There's a shout for a penalty. Akuno for Sands. Just couldn't keep the ball close enough to himself to keep it away from the Manningham backline. It's a rather poor ball from Theodorakopoulos, not what we're accustomed to.
Manningham are under all sorts of pressure at the moment. This is a very good spell from Morland.
Really under the pump here as Apiakuno is adjudged offside and just breaks the momentum. Well, Morland City, you can see how goals change games and how just a flicker of confidence can propel you. If you'd only just tuned in for the last 5 minutes, you'd think Morland City were the team up 3-1.
Just wonder if Manningham, you know, in that period before the goal, Josh, it just seemed like they were a bit too comfortable. Morland City were able just to spring that trap and that all-important goal. And right now, it's Manningham's going to have to do all the defending because they're under the pump right now.
Oh, Morland City playing with fire at the back. Is Tuntis onside? Is not.
I was just about to say the curse of the commentator there because I thought Tuntis was on for a sec.
Did look like he went slightly too early there. Manningham had 4 on 2. Miley loses out. Theodorakopoulos couldn't get to the loose ball. Thomas looking for Safakis, but Marco Tavella in the way. Goulding with a lovely disguised through ball, but Ben Everson wasn't quite expecting it. And he's looking a little leggy after scoring twice today and getting through a hell of a lot of running.
Look at Matt Spall here on the near side, Josh. He looks absolutely cooked at the moment. He's feeling it at the moment.
Fulton. Apiakuno drifting wide. Curtis Miley has his progress halted, but wins a corner in the process.
Just looking at, Spall again. He can barely walk at the moment, and there's even a bit of words from the Morland City fans just saying to get him off, make the sub, because it's looking quite proppy.
Yeah, Matt Spall not in a good way. Maybe he came off second best after that rugby tackle. Tuntis. Everson in the 1v1. He's got a runner down the left, but Ben Everson will do it all himself here, bustling forward, and then he's caught by Newman Ali. And Everson stays down. Moreland City not interested in stopping the game. Why should they be when they've got a numerical advantage and a game to chase? It's come straight off Astro Sakalis. Everson back to his feet and limping as heavily as Matt Spall is right now. Now we've got changes afoot, and Matt Spall is going to go the long way round and limp off as Jake Chianta takes his place at right back.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's already taken the shin pad off on the left side. I wonder if maybe he copped a bit of a knock as well.
Restart with a drop ball, and Waters immediately sends it wide for Safakis to deliver. Hooked away by Theodorakopoulos, then Miley. Dean Waters. Oh, that's a poor ball from the Irishman. Safakis has to double back to keep it alive. Ali. Waters. Better pass this time for Chianta. Stepping inside. Jack Chianta goes down. Battling for it with Tavella. Moreland City fans wanted a free kick. Instead, it's off the knee of Apaya Kuno and it goes wide. It really was a good opportunity, but such an awkward height for the striker.
Yeah, he just had to try and get anything on it in the end, and in the end it was just his knee. It's that very awkward position with the cross, but good opportunity there for Moreland Cities. It looks like Ben Everson to come off and replaced by Nathan Dibb, making his Manningham debut, which is great to see.
It's been a long road back from injury for Nathan Dibb, and he's got his family here watching him today. The left back.
Looks like he's just going to slot in and help out defensively alongside Akol and
maybe Tavella sent forward into a holding midfield role.
Potentially.
Sacrifice a striker for a defensive-minded player and try and hold on to this 3-1 lead, which, well, the 3-0 lead looks so safe. But all of a sudden, we've got a game on our hands again. Just 4 minutes of regulation left. We'll have a little chunk of stoppage time as well for the injuries we've had. Tavella. Rides the challenge and he's past Miley, and James Turgott was looking for the killer ball. Theodorakopoulos on his own up front now, after spending most of the day as the number 10. Fletcher Fulton, Moreland City's goal scorer, looking dangerous. Feeding Newman Ali on the flank. Dow Akol heads away, and Manningham will play their way out. Really calmly done. Turgut exchanging passes with Theodorakopoulos. You can't make the Moreland City defence turn and face their own goal. And then a bit of hesitation, and Samaranis is well outside his penalty area. And he thumps it into Rosette. Rosette, in this case, being the adjacent training pitch. Well, Fletcher Fulton, a round one challenge. Got a free man at the back post. Good pressure from Chianta. Safakis. And then a big shout for handball as Dow Akol pleads his innocence. Quickly taken corner. Safakis looking for Sands. It drops to Corey Thomas. Waters can't find space for the strike. Theodorakopoulos with a really important win there. An understated little chip for Golding. And now here's Nathan Dibb. Oh, just lost his footing.
Bit of rustiness potentially there for Nathan Dibb.
Well, he made a lung-busting run forward, and I bet he's feeling it now.
Yeah.
There's nothing that training can do to really prepare you for the rigours of a game. Golding. Little back heel from Theodorakopoulos. That's lovely. Turgut couldn't find his teammate in Tuntus. Moreland City can't keep it. Carter. This game is just so open now. Moreland City throwing the kitchen sink, and Manningham can punish them here. And Christos Theodorakopoulos comes up with his second thumping strike of the day, finds the corner and makes the point safe for Manningham United.
Running straight over to the Manningham bench. He gets his goal, and that's a beautiful finish from Theodorakopoulos. You can't afford to leave him with that much space on the edge of the area, and he wraps up the 3 points. Make that 5 goals this season now for Christos. He's having a really, really good campaign for Manningham, and that's 3 points in the bag now for the Blues, who will be 9 points clear of Morland City on the table, Josh. And I'll tell you what, you get a sense that they're, I don't want to go too early, but you get a sense they're probably halfway there towards safety at the moment, because if this continues for Morland City, we know one team only goes down. Being 9 points clear at this point, if they can continue to build off this, this is very, very impressive.
Manningham United have really announced themselves in the top flight. They've knocked off the reigning champions in Avondale. Now they've knocked off their relegation rivals in Morland City.
So what this result means is Morland City 0 points, Altona just above them on 4, who take on St Albans, who are on 7 points. But Manningham into 9th with this win. They leapfrog both Dandenong Thunder and Green Gully. Of course, Thunder in action tonight against Port Melbourne. Standy City playing Hume City. But they're only 3 points off 6, Josh. Don't want to go too early. Don't want to, trumpet the finals push for Manningham. But they're only 3 points behind. So they're kind of in the mix.
Miley. Still going, Curtis Miley. Up against Tavella. Marco Tavella keeps it in play. Manningham ball. Nathan Dibb winning the throw.
Yeah, if you're Manningham right now, it's all just about keeping it down the flanks. Don't get the ball back into the corridor. Keep it away from there and just taking the minutes, taking the seconds. To use more footy parlance, play the seconds, don't play the minutes. So, I'm sure they're going to be doing that. They're up by 3. They're looking the goods here, Manningham, to get their 3rd win of the season. Of course, their first away points of the season as well, which is a huge notch for them, because if they can start getting points away from Petty's Reserve as well, it'll be massive in their push to really secure their place in the top flight this season.
Here come Manningham looking for a 5th, and Condolian saves well from a powerful long-range effort from James Tuntus.
Beauty is for Manningham, Josh. They've got 3 of their next 4 games at home. And, of course, 2 of those games are against top 6 sides, but one of them being against Altona. It's a good little run that they've got coming up for them. But Morland City, Josh, you look at who they've got next. Heidelberg away. Like, talking about a daunting task for them, a side who are still undefeated this season. Their last home game, they defeated St Albans 6-0. They beat Melbourne Knights 1-0 last night. But, of course, their next game back here, Altona Magic.
We had 5 minutes up on the board for stoppages. Played a couple of those already. Manningham will be absolutely wrapped with the way today's gone. Golding. Coming in field. Tom Golding lining one up. That was moving in the air. Alex Condolian did well, but he was initially diving the wrong way. Miley. Through for Jose Sands and Owen Doveton. Well, hasn't he done well deputising at centre-back today?
Yeah, he's been very solid. He's had a pretty good season, to be fair. When he's played even at fullback, he's looked really solid. With Castiello back next week, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And also with Daniel Scopoletti come back. They've done this as well with two of their first-choice defenders missing, Josh. So it's pretty impressive.
That was Kurt Rob with the header, and then Safakis is offside.
By the same token, of course, Morland City without an array of key players. Luke Jurcic, Michael Zoutsidis, Croucher as well missing. So you look at some of those names, they're big from, especially Zoutsidis from a defensive standpoint. So we'll see what that means in the weeks ahead. He's already had 5 yellow cards and 2 red cards, so not exactly sure how many games that means he's going to miss, but it's a big loss for Morland City not having him available today.
Well, they've got 5 red cards already this season, Morland City. That's been killing them. Luke Jurcic has been sent off twice. Zoutsidis twice. And Kurt Rob has been given his marching orders once as well. And that will be that. Astro Sakalis brings this game to a close. And in a relegation battle, it's Manningham United who will be all smiles after that one. 2 goals apiece from Ben Everson and Christos Theodorakopoulos secure a well-earned 3 points away from home. Their first points on the road this season, while Morland City, their 9th consecutive defeat, sit at the foot of the table, and it's looking pretty grim for the boys from CB Smith, or from Campbell Reserve, I should say. Nick, pretty comprehensive from Manningham, and playing away from their familiar synthetic, they get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. First away points of the season, first away points in the top flight of Victorian football for them as well. So a big win for them, and huge for their push for survival this year and to become a top tier mainstay. And it was emphatic. I mean, Morland City started strong, but the way that Manningham, were able to withstand that and then take their chances back the other way, that was so emphatic in front of goal. And these are the games you've got to win if you want to survive in this competition. We know it's only one team that go down this year, but, it's a big win for Manningham. Of course, it's a massive step in the right direction as they look to secure their status for another season. But for Morland City, Josh, it's a real blow for them. They're now 9 points behind Manningham. Of course, they'll be keeping an eye on what happens between Altona and St Albans, because that game will still have quite a big say in how things stand for them in the weeks ahead. And they do play Altona in a couple of weeks back here, but it's a big mountain for them to climb, and the pressure is building. And this was a game that they probably would have penciled in as an opportunity to finally get some points on the board after, to be honest, even after in these opening 8 games, they've been competitive, but they fell behind early, and it was always going to be a mountain for them to climb. But a good win for Manningham. They're looking the goods, and suddenly they're, only 3 points behind 6th. I'm not saying that they're going to, potentially make a run for finals, but you never know. They're just keeping themselves in and around that conversation with teams dropping points, and we'll see what they can do in the weeks ahead. So big ticks for George Karkaletsis' side, but a lot to work on for David Ostojic in the weeks ahead.
Well, the star men come to the fore. 5 goals this season for Christos Theodorakopoulos, 4 for Ben Everson, and a brace each today. That's enough to separate them from Morland City, who've really struggled so far this season, and David Ostojic will be looking for answers. We'll sign off here on the NPL Victoria live stream. I've been Josh Parrish. A delight to have your company today, Nick Dabano. And we'll speak to you again soon. We've got plenty of action coming up this Saturday night. Port Melbourne versus Dandy Thunder. Hume City taking on Dandenong City. It's an all-star slate of games, so keep your eyes fixed to those screens and enjoy the action this weekend. The final score from CB Smith Reserve is Morland City 1, Manningham United Blues 4.
I'm pretty sure they got the wrong way. I'm pretty sure we were going counter. Because I heard them saying Jake and stuff like that. You know what, man? Like, maybe if you scored. Yeah, exactly. If you scored, that's when it would have been. Yeah, but we were just following the team sheet.
Yeah, so anything comes back, you have to say, get your team sheets right then.
Well, that, I mean, that's actually a forfeit.
Yeah, it's a violation, so, you know.
I mean, they lost anyway, so...